Welcome to Last Week in Warframe, a series where I keep you updated on the past week of Warframe, from announcements made by DE that don't necessarily warrant their own videos to community fan art, posts, and updates. So without further ado, let's go over De's announcements and news from the 24th of February to the 2nd of March. Now we did have Devstream 124, with the first showcase being that of a high poly render of Nyx's deluxe skin. We also had a short preview of the Lotus UI theme that will be coming soon. They did joke about it releasing sometime on Mother's Day. That seemed to be more of a joke than an actual release date. Now they also talked a bit about a UI screen update for Warframe abilities, where it will have unique tabs of the Warframe abilities itself, where if the player hovers over it, it will show a short video, as well as the stats for the ability itself. This UI update will also contain a tips section in the ability screen, so any pertinent information will be applied to it. We were also showcased new operator hair, as well as Hildryn's alternate helmet, and the Tennocon 2019 emote that projects the Tennocon 2019 glyph, which will be available in the Tennocon 2019 digital pack. Now also in the Devstream was a bit of a breakdown of one of Steve's tweets that was released during the week. For a full screenshot of that, that's up on your screen, but for things that they commented in the stream, they said that all of these are subject to change, and only some of them are currently in active development, such as the wall run animation and Archwing controls. Now, the team also commented that they do plan on streamlining some of the old systems in the game to keep it up to standard, but only those two are currently in development. Now, as we have already covered on this channel and in previous episodes, the Plains of Eidolon will be receiving a visual overhaul in a future update. Now with that visual update, it will contain lighting changes that will be applied to both the Plains of Eidolon and the Orb Valis, but we will also be receiving bounty vendors in the Plains of Eidolon, as well as new enemies, new mods, and of course that lighting update. Now one of those enemies was showcased in the Devstream, that being the Grineer Thumper. Now we previously saw it in a Devstream last year, but we now have a showcase of that in the Devstream in the Plains of Eidolon. So that was just thumping around and slamming near Rebecca when she was trying to showcase the next thing, Limbo Deluxe's skin and kit. Now we did get a higher quality version from DE Kaz, who is the designer of the Limbo Deluxe skin and its deluxe pack on Twitter, and that is panning on your screen right now. So we will be getting the deluxe skin in the next mainline update, as confirmed by the team on the Devstream, and it will contain a throwing knife skin, a Sugatra, and a Cyan Dana. Now the Wisp Frames custom movement was also showcased in the Devstream while they were walking around the updated Plains of Eidolon, showcasing its shadow updates. And yeah, it will be floating above the ground. That was confirmed in a previous Devstream. But Pablo did confirm on Twitter that this moveset will only apply to the Wisp. Now for console players, in regards to that Plains of Eidolon visual update, it actually runs at 60 FPS on the base Xbox One. So that's pretty good information for you guys. Now they were also talking about two-tone energy colors coming to the game with a screenshot preview, but there is no ETA on when that will be arriving. Jeff stated that players will be receiving ghoul weapons at some point in the future, but it was a pretty quick question. New mods will also be coming in the future, and they will be our basic mandatory mods that we have right now, but they will have a added stat on top of them that applies to our Warframe, with one of those examples applying a movement speed buff. Now they did comment that you can only have one of these mods equipped at a time, and the base stat, that being for the weapon itself, will be a reduced version of our current variations of those mods. Now in regards to the Corpus Gas City remaster, we have seen a number of tiles showcased in previous Devstreams, but alongside those, Steve has stated that new lore and new enemies and whatnot will be arriving alongside them. We finally saw a preview of those enemies in this Devstream, and they will be amalgamations of Corpus and Sentient units, and they will be a new faction. Now each of these enemies will have their own unique effect and added bonus. One of those was that they can regenerate their own health if they are left to be idle. In regards to primary weapon kit guns, we have seen them comment on that previously, but the question was brought up in this Devstream, and no one seemed to know what was going on with them, so we have no further information in regards to that, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Now, if you do remember, DE asked the Design Council to provide suggestions for the next 2 Kavat breeds. And one of the suggestions that they seem to be dead set on is that of a vampiric Kavat that of course has a vampiric skill set. And to finish up the Devstream section, they did release a Fortuna survey, so if you do want to get your thoughts about the Orb, Valis, and Fortuna to DE directly, make sure to go to that survey and fill it out. They also said that the waypoint system is still being looked at, and we will be seeing some changes coming in the next mainline update to the waypoint system. We had a number of tweets from DE Pablo updating us about the UI preview, so DE Pablo said the following on Twitter with a screenshot that's on your screen right now. The abilities screen will also show more stat details. For example, here you can see stats classified on what affects night versus day. This would apply to things like Ibarra's quiver and more. It now shows the damage type, slash in this case, and special indicator for energy. The idea for tips is to show some of the more complex ability interactions in there, like how Garas 1 and 4 interact. At the moment, those are only on the wiki, which we don't like, but also couldn't add to the main description since it would become an impenetrable wall of text. By making ability information be in the tooltip, it allows us to do 2 things. 1, add more info without making the screen overwhelming since it's all compartmentalized. You have seen this already in other things like items where we can now show tradable former, focus, etc. And last, just a note on how this will ship. With 38 frames, that's a boatload of videos to make, so we will ship some with videos and some with old ability images as placeholder, like you see in that screenshot, and over time we will fill videos out. Now in reply to this, of course, players had a bunch of feedback and comments. So first off, a user asked if there were any considerations for voice over narration. Pablo replied, "We did consider sounds for videos or narration, but thought it would get old pretty fast." A user also asked, will you still be able to see or toggle short descriptions without the stats, without hovering? To which Pablo commented, no, all of that information will be on the tooltip. I get your pain, moving info into tooltips comes at the cost, but I really believe the benefit outweigh it. The initial user responded, I like more stats, but I also dislike toggle, hover, toggle mods, hover, for every ability to see the effect. Maybe a little wider tooltip with base value in a column on the right. To Pablo's response, that's a fair point. Maybe we could add a second tab to the tooltip with the compare stats for no mods versus mods. So hover, press tab, and you see the difference there. In another thread, a user commented, has there been any discussion about also adding how much things like power strength, range, efficiency, and duration affect solid abilities? Probably a tall order, but it's important info that I always have to go to the wiki for. To which Pablo asked, like the min-max values, quote-unquote, with max power strength you can get this up to blah, I think that is a bit too specialized. 2 tweets then followed by 2 different users. Not so much min-max values, more just stating what the stats do for the ability. There are numerous examples of stats affecting abilities that aren't at all obvious or intuitive. That would be nice to know. To which the second user responded, just one example worth mentioning is how it wasn't clear to me for a long time that Nova's molecular prime was affected by duration and not range. It makes sense why, just wasn't an obvious concept to me at the time. And Pablo ends the thread, those sort of quirks are what I'm hoping the tip section will cover. Another user shared his concerns, the only thing that bothers me with this is that I have to hover over the abilities to see what a mod changed. Yes, at some point you might implement it into the upgrade menu, but until then it'll be clunkier to get useful information out of it, at least in my opinion. Yes, it hides information to be less overwhelming, but it also hides information to those that optimize their builds, which is a big part of Warframe. To which Pablo responded, it doesn't put it too far out of reach. I think in the overall balance, what it adds is much more than what it takes. And that does end the comments in regards to the UI screen update. Now, Rebecca also released a tweet that stated an engineer at DE updated their hotfix bot to notify what the current seedless time is to alleviate hotfixes releasing during Eidolon hunts. Now, the Nightwave system also launched on all platforms, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC at the same time last week. That is now in the game, and the previous alert system is no longer available with the exception of the Maru's Weekly ITAN mission, Barricatier's Notification, the Help Clem mission, the Tactical Alerts, and the Gift of the Lotus Alerts. Now for information about the Nightwave system, I'll leave a link to my video in the description down below, just to save time for this Last Week in Warframe episode. However, we did get a number of tweets in regards to the Nightwave system, so for those that are already briefed on the game type, let's continue. Now the future of Umbral Former's acquisition is unclear, but the current option through Nightwave tiers is the only option, and that was commented by DE Steve. Players can also complete a minimum of 65% of the Nightwave challenges in a season or series to complete all tiers. Nightwave lore will be made available in the Codex after the series ends, and a Nightwave season lasts for around 10 weeks, and daily missions will stay around for 3 days. The Wolf of Saturn VI also has a chance to spawn, and upon his death, parts for his Wolf Sledge will be dropped. His spawn chance will be increased over the duration of the Wolf of Saturn VI season. Nightwaves will also introduce new lore at a slower pace, but we will be getting new enemies as it does continue. Now, in regards to a player's concerns about friends or co-op play challenges, DE Bear released the following comment. We have a multitude of players, and Warframe is fundamentally a co-op game. While a majority of these events can be completed in a solo setting, we wanted to be able to reward those who also spend time playing the game with friends. We are going to be looking at feedback with many eyes as this new system is rolled out, so keep your thoughts coming. For everyone who has these concerns, what else would you like to see? Feedback is important, but keep it constructive, please. And he continued to express that comments on the system that highlight quality of life improvements and suggestions are welcome, but won't be an instant fix or an instant rollout. Now, outside of the DE comments and responses, Hotfix 24.3.2 released on PC, which fixed syndicates not allowing players to rank out of their hostile rankings with hostile syndicates. The hotfix also allowed the Wolf of Sledge parts to be tradable and disabled the radio chatter when viewing the Nightwave menu, and of course there were also fixes, which are up on your screen. Now Hotfix 24.3.3 also continued with fixes for the system and removed the option to sell your Wolf Sledge parts for ducats. For Xbox One and PlayStation 4, both consoles had the Nightwave update released with similar hotfixes. All information for your updates and your hotfixes can be found in the description, as the links are available there. For the Nintendo Switch version of the game, you guys got Fortuna Part 2. Going back to Xbox One and PlayStation 4, the Prestige Pack 13 launched on Xbox One for those players, and contains the Twin Gracata Jade skin, the Jade Clem emblem, a 3-day credit and affinity booster, and 170 platinum. PlayStation players, you guys got the Renown Pack 15, that collects Oberon's Obsidian skin, the Archwing helmet, a 3-day affinity and credit booster, and 170 platinum. Continuing forward though, the winners of the Venetian Carnival contest were announced, and DE Helen updated the post with the following caption. So much talent, we had to take it to a company-wide vote to select the winners for this contest, and everyone at DE agreed there were too many incredible submissions to put just one in-game. That is why both the first place and second place masks will be added to Nakup's shop. I can't thank you enough for sharing the beautiful designs with us. We admire your creativity. So first place was a Norg head mask, the second place is a Lotus Wisp mask, both of which will be made and sold in Nakup's shop. The final 3 will get the rewards but won't be placed in-game. The following 3 being the Visage of Unum, which was 3rd place, 4th place was by Lusty Argonian Maid, and 5th place was by Chubby's Curry McToast King, and it was titled Lumbina. On the back of the winner announcement, DE launched a new contest, which was Moa Animation Design Contest. All rules for the contest can be found in the forum page, so if you do want to participate, make sure to go to the forum post and read all the guidelines. Now to end the basic events that occurred during the past week, Tennocon tickets went live, and as of recording this video, they're now sold out. However, the digital ticket pack will be made available on the 19th of March for $25 USD, as I've mentioned beforehand, and will include 475 platinum, the Tennocon 2019 armor set, which DE Helen previewed in a follow-up comment, a glyph, a sigil, a digital art piece, a Tennocon emote that was previewed previously in the Devstream, as I showcased, and access to the Tennocon relay that will host Barricatier's full supply of items. A purchase of the pack will be required to enter the relay without any account repercussions. Now, in a follow-up comment from DE Helen, she relayed that digital ticket gifting will not be available. Anyway, that does conclude this week's episode of Last Week in Warframe. There was going to be another 6 pages or 7 pages of recapping the Retalius vs. DE situation, but I will be releasing that as a separate video so we don't clutter up the Last Week in Warframe episode. The glyph codes are of course up on your screen, so thank you for watching. Sorry it's late, but yeah, if you missed out on last week's episode, make sure to click the annotation on the screen right now, and if you have suggestions for the series itself on how I can improve, make sure to leave it in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.